What if I told you that someone had ridden 2 UK roller coasters for 17 days straight? Or that someone had ridden another UK roller coaster at the age of 105? Or even that a roller coaster in America cost $500 million to make? You probably wouldn't believe me about any of them, would you? Well, they are actually real, because today I have found some of the weirdest and craziest roller coaster world records that some of them I didn't even believe when I was researching them. And I'm going to go through all of them today. So make sure you watch till the end so you don't miss any, and make sure to subscribe to the channel as well if you enjoy and do want to see more videos like this in the future. But before we begin then, let's talk about a definitely not world record that I'm going to be doing soon. That is riding Rita at Alton Towers 100 times and more for the Alzheimer's Society, which is a charity very close to my heart. And as much as we're going to talk about some even more crazy marathons in this video, I really would appreciate you donating, as it's happening in less than a month and I will need all the support I can get, because man, that's going to be a painful few days. So if you'd like to, you can donate to that via the link in the description. But enough about me and doing challenges that aren't really world records. Let's get into the list of actual world records, shall we? And the first of which is one that is still at the same theme park that Rita sadly resides in, Alton Towers, that being an insane world record that everyone knows about already. The Smiler at Alton Towers holding the world record for the most inversions on a roller coaster at 14. And I mean, to a lot of us in the UK, it feels normal to have that many inversions on that ride, but when you think about it, and actually forget how close to home it is definitely not normal to have that many inversions on a ride. And for that reason, it's highly unlikely that this record will ever be beaten, as more than 14 is probably way too much. And the fact it's in such a small plot of land and they fit that many inversions in, you could literally barely fit any other rides in there. Heck, Octonauts can't even fit. But I just had to put it in this video because it may seem like a normal record to many of us, but in reality, it is a lot of inversions and a crazy world record. And the same could be said for a new ride that opened very recently, Falcon's Flight over at Six Flags Qiddiya, that being the world's tallest, world's fastest, and world's longest roller coaster, all packed into one. The fact it used to be, Formula Rossa has the world's fastest title, King Dakar is gone now, but that was the tallest. And then Steel Dragon 2000, that was the longest. And seeing all the animations of this ride originally, it did not feel like it was going to ever open or be built. And here we are where it has opened, and it is over 5 miles an hour faster than Formula Rossa, almost 200 feet taller than King Dakar was if you count it from the top of the cliff. Then if not, then it's still 100 feet taller with that airtime hill, and almost 6,000 feet longer than Steel Dragon 2000. The fact a ride of this scale, magnitude, and length, I guess, was ever even thought about in the first place, and the fact it opened and it's still running to this day, again, that had to be in here because that is just ridiculous. As is the fact that over in America, Six Flags Magic Mountain once held the record, once being the key word there, for the most roller coasters in a single amusement or theme park with 20. And that was actually officially recorded by Guinness World Records quite a few years back now, and the park has actually since removed 3 different roller coasters, which means they currently sit at around 17 operating roller coasters, depending on what sort of a Six Flags day you have, which means technically the new world record holder for that is now in Europe at Energylandia in Poland, which genuinely, if Six Flags don't up their game, I think Poland are going to keep this one, because Energylandia already have another roller coaster on the way there. And if you want to hear about the news to do with that and even more, make sure you go and check out the series on this channel called This Past Week in Theme Parks. It's got a very catchy theme song. But talking of making new rides and making the biggest and best thing ever, Disney and Universal are known to make huge roller coasters and spend lots of money on them, to the point where they've both held records for the most expensive roller coaster ever made, where previously that record was held by Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, which also holds the world record for the longest name ever, at $300 million over at Universal's Islands of Adventure. But now, potentially, it's held by Walt Disney World at Epcot on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which cost $500 million, which is just absurd. But we don't know, because Falcon's flight that I just spoke about could potentially have cost more than that, or around the same amount. But there really isn't any confirmation of that, so we'll give it to Guardians for now, as that is one hell of a record to have. And tell you what is another ridiculous record to have: the most amount of roller coasters ridden in 24 hours. And with this, 4 people managed to ride 74 different roller coasters across 10 different theme parks in a single day. And genuinely, reading into this, I have no concept of how they did this. I find it crazy that they had helicopters to help them travel between those parks. Genuinely no idea how they managed that, as it'd be a struggle to ride the same ride at the same park 74 times in a day. So fair play to them for doing that. This next record is broken by someone who is not old, they are just enjoying their lives. At the age of 105, they were the oldest person ever to ride a non-inverting roller coaster. Funnily enough, at Flamingo Land here in the UK. Jack Reynolds set this record on his 105th birthday in 2017 on the Twistosaurus roller coaster. And once again, he was raising money for a local air ambulance charity, which is amazing. And what's even more amazing is after getting off the ride, he was asked about the experience and basically said it was fine, and that he was going to go round again. That is a thrill seeker through in and throughout. Fair play for doing that. And fair play to many people that actually set a record on Valkyria at Liseberg over in Sweden back in 2024 for the highest average age on a roller coaster ride. So instead of just one older person going on it, they'd have multiple older people riding the same ride, and the average age of that entire train takes the record. And Blackpool Pleasure Beach used to actually hold that record from 2003, and the average age on that Big Dipper train, 75 years old, which I was about to say I can't believe people of that age rode that ride considering how rough it is. And then I remembered a future record we're going to talk about where someone rode that ride for a lot longer, and that sounded way more painful. But yeah, recently in Liseberg in Sweden, they did break that record by making the average age of the train on Valkyria full of people around 80 years old. So again, a massive shout out to those people. Maybe one day we'll see that record broken again. I mean, to be honest, with the previous one we spoke about, surely if he just went on Twistosaurus by himself, that means the average age was 105. So he could have broken 2 world records, but it's nice to see a group of people get together to break a world record like that. As another group of people went to Blackpool Pleasure Beach this time to break a very strange world record on the Grand National roller coaster, where British Naturism had organised an event to try and break the record for the world's most naked people on a theme park ride. Okay. And that is an official Guinness World Record, and they did raise a lot of money for breast cancer, which obviously is amazing as well. But yeah, it's probably a bit awkward if you turned up at the park on that day and thought, oh, I'd quite like to go on the Grand National. Nope, I'd stay away if I were you. But as stupid as that record sounds, again, raising money for charity, love to see it. Another person back at Liseberg broke a record that was a lot less strange and a lot more trivial, I feel, where on Balder, their wooden roller coaster in 2025, he broke the world record for the most capital cities named whilst on a roller coaster, that being 48 of them. Now, I don't even know 48 capital cities. So to be able to do that on a roller coaster is very, very cool. Or it says he kept his eyes closed for the entire ride. Did he have a mental note? Did he see it in his brain? Well, whatever he did, it worked, because he actually beat the previous record of naming capital cities from someone who did it on Colossus at Thorpe Park. What is it with Liseberg taking our UK records? No, that sounds like a really fun challenge. I'd love to give that a go someday, as I think some people might want to have a go trying not to crack eggs on a roller coaster. As you do. These 2 people in 2013 set another world record at Europa Park, where on a roller coaster, they had a shopping basket full of 110 eggs and somehow managed to retain them all without smashing any the entire duration of the ride. I think if I had one, it would be over, but that is one heck of a record, and I love that for them. And I genuinely love to give something like this a go, trying to break a world record on a roller coaster, and I'm not sure what I could do, so if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments, and 1,000 likes, and I'll try and break a world record on a roller coaster, because that would be quite fun. But obviously, I'm not going to try and break a world record, well, maybe I am, for the most amount of times riding Rita at Alton Towers when I do that in September, but I could ride that for 3 days straight, 4 days straight, and it would not come anywhere near close to a record that was set by Richard Rodriguez, who broke the world record for the longest roller coaster marathon, sadly for him, on the Big One and Big Dipper at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, after riding it for 405 hours and 40 minutes. Which is nearly 17 days. And you know, when it comes to all-day challenges, people ride these coasters during the actual park hours. So did he just ride it for 17 days in a row and just sort of go to the park and then go home again? No, he stayed on it the entire time, eating, drinking, and sleeping on those roller coasters from the 27th of July to the 13th of August back in 2007. And I just, how? How do you even do that? I don't think a park nowadays would literally, like, let you do that. Especially on those two now, because I don't know how they were riding back in 2007. But oh boy, if I tried to do them now, not that you can on the Big Dipper currently, but I think I'd have bruises all over. So the fact that he managed to do that 17 days straight, that is absolutely crazy. But again, that entire thing was done to raise money for a lovely charity. It's all for a good cause, as is Rita 100, if I haven't mentioned it enough already. And as much as it's not a world record, it's still a big challenge, so I'm very excited to do that, and potentially kind of scared to break a world record if this video hits 1,000 likes. But if you do want to see that video when it drops in the future, then make sure you subscribe. And if you want to hear more about that challenge, go and check out the video on screen right now. Unless, when you're watching this, I've already done it, in which go and check out the video. It really depends when you're watching this, because, I mean, it's YouTube. You could be watching this in 500 years' time.